I'm Case. I built one of the highest rated meal prep businesses in the country, starting with no money experience or connections. I made every mistake, figured it out. Now I give you the playbook so you can skip the painful parts. Meal prep software, business automation systems, private groups, an AI clone in my brain. You can pick 24/7, one-on-one consulting, free resources, courses, and more. Everything you need is at mealprepis101.com. Links in the show notes. Now let's get into it.
What's going on, eaters and feeders? Welcome to the Event Rockstar Series, where I teach you how to shine like the rock star you are at any event, demo, lunch and learn, party, or shindig that your meal prep business attends so you can maximize your impact and your profit for your efforts. In this episode, we are discussing what happens after the fat lady sings. Now, while you think the game is over, I would argue that it is just beginning, because what you do after the event has concluded could be crucial, and it could even further propel you into the successes, into the Hall of Fame of meal prep stardom. As any athlete worth their salt would tell you, it's not how you start the game, it is how you finish it. So that is what we are going to be discussing in this episode. Diving right into it, give food away. When you have extra food, be prepared to give it away. And unfortunately, it happens a lot. It's always better to have extra. Odds are you're never going to be ending with just enough food. And I'd rather have a little bit extra left over than run out of food too early. And I've been there, and that's a very awkward situation to be in. So having a little bit extra isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you look at the event checklist, you're going to notice that one of the line items is going to be containers, because this is where they are going to come into play. You got some extra food, throw them in some meal prep containers. Make sure you've got your label on there with some contact information. We normally make some special event labels that don't have the meal name, but they are the meal labels. But it just has bigger font with all of our contact information. Sometimes I will take the postcards and I'll put that with the containers, and I give those out to either the other vendors who have been at the events, because they eat too, any of the contact people working the events, and especially any stragglers walking around. Just give it to them as a bonus. And when they are like, no, I can't take the food, just be like, listen, chef is gonna cry if I take any food back. He's gonna think that you guys didn't like it. It's gonna break his heart. I can't throw it away. I can't eat all of this. So just take it. And then they'll take it. Everyone's going to be sheepish about it. Every once in a while, you get someone who's like trying to hoard it. That's more difficult to deal with, because it's like, hey, the idea is I want to get this out to as many people as possible, because these are basically little edible billboards, little edible advertisements that I'm getting, and I want you to bring this home to your children. I want them to be eating the peanut butter balls and going, wow, Mom, this is amazing dessert. And then you feel guilt-free because you gave them this amazing, healthy dessert, and then you're going to call up your meal prep company, XYZ, whatever it is, and you're going to be signing up because your kids love the dessert so much, and you felt like such a good parent for giving it to them. And it's all going to be because you had some extra food that would have otherwise been thrown out, but you are maximizing the potential of your efforts, your resources, and the food that you brought. Another thing that you're going to see on the event list is cleanup supplies. You're going to want to make sure you have trash bags. Don't assume that they're going to be there. Make sure that you've got some Clorox wipes and you've got some dish towels and things like that, so you can wipe up any messes, any mistakes. Let's be honest, you're working with food. Things happen. It is good to be prepared and assume that's going to be happening. I always have this stuff in our kit ready to go in case we need it. Very seldom do we need to really get in there and do a thorough cleaning, but if something does happen, you want to make sure, just like a good Boy Scout, you're leaving your environment at least as nice and clean as you found it, if not better. Probably should have started with this, but you never want to be the first table to start breaking down and packing up. In fact, if they say that the event ends at 4 or the event ends at 5, wait until 4:05 or 5:05 until you even think about starting to pack up. Why? Because the people who are putting on these events want it to seem full the entire time. They don't want people closing up early just because it looks like it's slowing down. While that may seem like it's more efficient for your time, if they see it emptying out and they see that your booth is the first one empty or your table is the first one vacant, they're going to be feeling a certain type of way about that potentially. Let's just eliminate that potential from happening by not leaving at all, not even a second early. Speaking of the event coordinator, your point of contact, whatever you want to call them, if possible, if they're there, you want to find them, thank them for inviting you as you're leaving, And that way it also shows, hey, look, I'm one of the last ones to leave. I was here to support you from the beginning to the end, and I'm very appreciative of it. Wouldn't you want to invite someone just like me and my company to come back and attend the next event that you're putting on, since we made it so successful and we are so appreciative? And wouldn't you want to invite someone just like me and my company to attend your next event? Odds are most of the vendors aren't going to be finding this person and reaching out and thanking them. They're going to be getting right out the door as soon as possible and going home. So you will definitely be able to use this as an opportunity to stick out. Again, you're always looking for these differentiators, and it's free. It's going to cost you another couple of minutes. Why not? So now you've packed up, you've cleaned up, you said your goodbyes, you said your thank yous, you're out the door, you're on your way home. You are now going to want to make sure that you've got all of these leads converted into a CRM as soon as possible. Hopefully, you are using an electronic method of capturing all this contact information. But if you've written it down, you're going to want to make sure that you have it all typed out and put into the CRM so that you are able to start reaching out to them as soon as possible. Now, if you've got people in the office while you're at the event and you've been taking them through the contact form, you could have had them, in theory, being contacted while the event was still going on. Because as soon as their information is submitted, I show you through the other videos on the Google form in Zapier how to set up some automation so they go right into the CRM. You can notify one of your salespeople or customer service people who are in the office, and they call them as they're walking away, and they still have the taste of your peanut butter balls in their mouth, which is, again, a beautiful position to catch them in because they're glowing from that engagement they just had with you. They have this delicious taste in their mouth. They're still super impressed with your company that's fresh on their mind. They've got nothing else to do other than walk around this stupid health fair and talk to somebody on the phone. So why not sign them up? Why not try to get them set up on that first week and using whatever they got off that prize wheel they just spun and got so excited about? But either way, you want to make sure you follow up with everyone. We've got specific campaigns set up where it's a bit different than the procedure we would take with normal leads that come in, just because the lead value, the lead quality is normally a bit different at events, and the approach is going to be a bit different. And one of the major differentiators is the fact that compared to the normal influx of daily leads that you're getting, you're going to have a massive dump of leads injected into your sales system. So you're going to want to make sure that you're not relying on a phone call to be made for each and every single individual person before they're contacted. So I'm talking mass texts and mass emails. What's great about mass text and mass emails is it can be done in 1 second, and it will start getting some of them to correspond with you, and then you would only have to focus on the other ones who haven't responded to the text and to the emails. The other ones, they've either emailed you back, they've texted you back, or ideally they've called you back. So let's say I get 100 leads from this event and I get 30 of them to respond from a text or an email. Now I only have to focus on 70. And for them, it could be follow-up texts, follow-up emails, but also the phone calls, but it takes a lot of time to make individual phone calls. So you want to try to filter out as many people as possible and shake as many out of the woodwork before you start putting in all that manpower and all that time just to get them on a one-on-one conversation. It might not be the convenient time. You might have called them when it wasn't convenient and it would have been a better time to contact them. But since you called them instead of them, now you're calling them when it's inconvenient and they would be free. You might be calling Bob when it would have been a better time to call Dave, and then by the time you get around to calling Dave's busy, but Bob's free, you're never going to know. Whereas with text and emails, it helps at least get the majority of the work that can be. So now you're able to spend your time and your focus where it is most needed and where you aren't able to just easily coax them out through the text or the email blasts. The following week would be a great time to follow up again with the coordinator or the point of contact. Even if you thank them in person when you left, this is still a great opportunity to ask them if they've heard any feedback, if there's any other events, if they had any feedback, how it all went, if there's any way that you can make them look good in front of their boss by making an email, commending them for how organized it was, or whatever kind of compliments you could put in there. Think about their position. You want to think about your employees' positions, you want to think about your customers' positions, and you want to think about the position of the contact people with these businesses that you want to foster relationships with. If you're the only vendor reaching out and showing your gratitude and offering to somehow help them look good in front of their boss, don't you think that would help your business stand out in their eyes? This is also another opportunity to use that inception technique where it's like, oh, you don't have any other events planned. You just do this health fair annually. You don't do any kind of employee appreciation days. You don't do anything for Memorial Day. You don't try to massage some ideas in there just to give you some more at-bats, give you some more opportunities to get exposure with their database of eaters, whether it's their employees, their audience, their customers, whoever these people are at these events. Follow up with them and see if you can milk another one of those events. As long as it was worthwhile, it's worthwhile doing again. If it was worth doing once, it's probably going to be worth doing another time, right? Now, you might not want to do it right away, maybe in another month, 2 months, another quarter, another half of the year. But some of these events are only annually. Done annually, and I've been able to massage that idea into some of these wellness coordinators where it's like, why do you only do an annual 5K? Why do you only do an annual wellness fair? They end up getting an idea to do another one a few months later, and guess who's invited? So that's it. Now you are armed, you are informed, you are trained, and you are dangerous. So get out there, start setting up these missions, start executing these opportunities, and I want to hear what your results are. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear some other ideas from your experiences. Are there any one-liners that work for you? I want to hear your failures. I want to hear your successes. I want to hear it all. I want to see what you guys do with this information, these tips, these tricks, and these tactics, and what you're able to accomplish in the real world by applying them. I know they work for me and my business, and they helped make us the success that we are today. So I am excited to hear what you guys are able to do with this stuff in your hands. So get busy, get out there, and get after it.